Mr. Chair.
If I may interrupt, for the understanding of the Filipino people, ano po ba ang kahalagahan nitong ating discussion about the delay in payment of claims of hospital? Because in reality, with all due respect to PhilHealth, marami po akong naririnig na stories of hospitals who have suspended or even stopped certain hospital services. For some, they fully closed. And I even heard stories about employees, health workers, who were dismissed because of issues of delay in the payment of claims. So I am apprehensive that our intended healthcare system for the Filipino people might be affected already because of this delay, considering the alarming amount of 59.6 billion. Of course, we acknowledge na nakasandal din po, umaasa din po ang ating mga hospital dito sa claims na natatanggap nila from PhilHealth. And if they will be suffering from delay in the payment of claims, chances are baka ma-derail po yung services, just like what happened to other hospitals who have stopped already certain services, and for some, they even fully closed.
Confusion, no, if I can clarify, no. Yes, Sir Net mentioned that the 59.8 is in the data, no. But ma'am, I think we should be clear that the 59.8 is from 2018 to 2024. The data in the screen includes 2017, ma'am. So, yes, it is correct. The data is all there. Pero ma'am, para hindi nakakalito, kailangan bawasan yung 2017. Dahil 2018 to 2024 lang po. Kaya ata po kayo nalilito kasi pati yung 2017 nadagdagan nyo po. No? Just wanted to clarify that po. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are you referring to the total amount of RTH, total amount of denied? Ganun po ba yun?
Mr. Chair, kung Nuestro, tama po, ma'am. So that 59.6...
So which amount should I deduct from the total of 23 billion and the total of 39 billion to come up with 59.6 billion?
Mr. Chair, interjection, most respectfully.
Yes, Congressman Gutierrez.
Mr. Chair, just to clarify po, I think I understand the point ni Congresswoman Luistro and also the point of Senior Vice President Shaco. So you're saying ito 2017 to 2024.
Yes po.
However, the cited data is 2018, but to 2024 also. But I agree po siguro po kasi if we take a look at the chart again, please, the table. So I think the tallying would be you get the total of yung denied plus yung total of the RTH, deduct 2017 RTH and deduct 2017 denied. Tama po. So if you follow that, 23 billion 521,711 694 na total RTH plus the denied of 39,871,703,000 minus yung sa 2017 for the denied, which is 2,447,728, 447,728,348 minus also for 2017 na RTH 897,558,734. Tama po ba that would be the formula to deduct 2017? The total is still 60 billion po. It's close to 59.8, but you have to understand, pag hindi po nagtatali, it does not inspire confidence in the numbers po, no?
Mr. Chair, Kong Gutierrez, tama po, because again, as I mentioned, this data po, ang extraction date ay iba po siya, but nevertheless, pareho po yung prinsipyo po ng data po nito. Meaning, that 59.6 billion po natin composed of RTS and composed of denied po. Now, magka-diferensya po siya na konti na lang immaterial insignificant na po siya. But the composition
I'm sorry, I refuse to accept that is immaterial and insignificant. When you're presenting numbers, we assume them to be accurate.
Mr. Chair, I can give you the figure, Mr. Chair, in one table that represents already the 59.6 as presented in the
I think
figure.
that would be better because that was the point of the good Congresswoman from Batangas. She wanted a breakdown. Bakit? it took us, when we finally looked at the table, ngayon nyo lang po linalabas. I hope you understand the frustration po, no? I mean, we can't call this insignificant. When there is kahit minor differences po, it does not inspire confidence in the data presented to this committee.
Duly noted on your comment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Just for the information of the committee, the exact amount showed in our report is 59.6 billion and not 59.8 billion. So if the Honorable Gutierrez was able to compute the total unpaid to 60 billion, then there's a difference of like 400 million.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, tama po, as I presented kanina, I provided you with the details of that 59.6 already as presented in the previous hearing. And then our data here ay na-ready po natin for presentation composed of 2017 to 2024 po. So more or less the composition again of 59.6 ay returned to hospital and denied claims po siya. So meaning if looking into the definition of is this payable of PhilHealth to the hospital, again the figure presented a while ago, the in-process claims, these are claims that we considered as talagang utang ng PhilHealth, meaning these are claims received by PhilHealth under process and it will be paid once it will complete the process of the claims processing and of course preparation of the check, Mr. Chair. Again, 19 billion out of that 22 billion ay coming from year 2024 and November, December claims po ito. Ang majority of this one ay November and December claims, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Can you please state once more which part are you acknowledging as unpaid or obligation?
Mr. Chair,
Para
Honorable-
kasing the way I heard it, you're trying to distinguish the nature of your obligation
Yes,
with respect to RTH, denied, and in process. May nabanggit po ba kayo na which category do you really consider as obligation and which you do not consider as obligation?
Before you answer that, the chair would like to recognize the Honorable Janet Garin, Vice Chairperson from the 1st District of Iloilo.
400.
Please respond to the query of Congresswoman Luistro.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro. Again, on the part ng PhilHealth, Mr. Chair, we have here the in-process claims. These are claims na received ng korporasyon and pinaprocess po siya. And that's amounting to 22 billion from year 2017 up to year 2024 po. And specifically in the year 2024 po, we have 19.9 or 20 billion na in process po. So, meaning these are claims received ng korporasyon and pinoproseso ng ating mga regional offices hanggang mababayaran po siya. So ito po yung ang payable talaga o kaya ay claims na talagang inaasikaso ng corporation para mababayaran, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned kanina, the RTS and the denied claims, these are claims that we return to the hospital in the accumulation and from year 2017 hanggang sa 2024 po, Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro. Thank you po.
Mr. Limsiaco, ito bang RTH na sinasabi mo, return to hospital? Ito ba'y may prescriptive period when they are supposed to comply with the insufficient requirements?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, ang ating prescriptive period, pag hindi nila na-comply yung 60 days, batay sa existing na palisiya po natin, ay pumapatak siya kaagad as denied. Denied claims na siya. Itong return to hospital naman, ito ay may mga kakulangan sa dokumento, kakulangan sa pagpirma ng mga dokumento galing sa ating mga healthcare facilities that naisubmit po nila sa corporation po.
So did the PhilHealth bother to identify how many of those claims have prescribed already?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, on the part of the prescribed 160 days at 60 days, mayroon po tayong analysis on this one. And mayroon akong slide dito po, pwede siguro papunta na tayo doon para makita na po natin ang rason.
I felt quite disturbed, Mr. Limshaco, when you said that the obligation that you consider of PhilHealth is the one in process represented by the figure 19 billion. I wish to believe that those in the RTH and the denied, for as long as the period has not prescribed yet, should be considered still as obligation of PhilHealth. In fact, I wish to ask further, after the remedies within the PhilHealth office, what other remedies are available to the hospital in the court, like the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court? Because my humble submission is, for as long as all these remedies have not yet been exhausted, all these obligations remain as obligations of PhilHealth.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, again, the RTH and denied claims ay, particularly return to hospital muna tayo. These are claims at the position of the hospital. So nasa kanila po, dahil binalik ng corporation, dahil may kakulangan po siya, and we are expecting that within 60 days, maibalik siya sa corporation para ma-process po. Meaning, Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, if makikita po natin in the year 2017 down the line, ito po yung mga claims na naibalik pero hindi na po siya bumalik sa corporation. Hindi po siya na-refile sa corporation. Hindi po siya na-request for payment ng ating mga health facilities.
So you have a graph presentation as well about the RTH which were never returned to PhilHealth.
Ito, Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, ito po siya yung mga datos po natin in terms of the RTH po, Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro. Meaning we are encouraging them actually na ibalik dahil for compliance lang po to.
May we know the reason why they refuse or they fail to return to the corporation? The RTH which are supposed to be returned with compliance with respect to the requirements.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Luistro, may I request our expert in claims processing po. We have here Dr. SVP Yas Vargas.
I just find it strange, no? Kasi pera na to ng hospital eh. Coverage ng PhilHealth, all they need to do is to facilitate the claim and they will be able to collect. That is a collection and perhaps revenue of the hospital. And what would stop them or discourage them to return the claim with complete requirements?
Quick interjection, Mr. Chair.
Congresswoman Garin.
Para lang po malinawan, yung return to hospital na claims, Mr. Chair, ibinalik sa hospital dahil may mga kulang na papel. And we are referring to 2017. Tama po?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Garin, hindi lang 2017 but hanggang 2024
Yes.
na
Pero
present ang datos.
na-delineate ba natin magkano yung 2017 pabalik? Yun na yung sinabi mo.
Opo.
Okay. And from 2017 hanggang sa ngayon, hindi na sila, ano na lang natin, let's make it shorter. Let's say from 2019, hindi na sila nagbalik sa PhilHealth. Ganun ba?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Garin, yes po.
Okay. Pwede ba nating ma-delineate how much or how many hospitals in this pool that you are saying are government and ilan naman yung private? Puro ba pribado or puro ba gobyerno? Because that might, alam mo, we need to see the bigger picture.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Honorable Garin, we can calculate that one and come up with a report po.
At ilan dun yung bukas pa o nagsara na?
Yes po.
And do you also have a slide that will point us to ano yung mga kulang kaya siya binalik?
Yes po. We have, Mr. Chair, Honorable Garen, reason bakit siya na RTH.
Do you have a slide on that? Kasi
Yes, po.
siguro para mapabilis tayo, let's move forward. Ano yung reasons ng RTH, or return to hospital? Ano yung reasons ng mga denial? Para makita natin kung doable ba o hindi ba.
Opo. Mayroon
If
po
the
tayo.
Honorable Luis will be willing, okay, you have the slide now.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Garin, this is the top 10 reasons for return to hospital in current year 2024 po. So, other documentary required, may mga documents po na hiningi ang ating claims processor na isupport doon sa mga claims ng ating mga health facilities po. Of course, discrepancies sa ating nakikita po ng processor po natin.
Mr. Chair, can Mr. Lim Siaco expand more, define, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng discrepancy para po maintindihan?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Garin, may I request Doc Ispot to respond if allow po ng Chair.
Dr.
Vargas, Mr. Chair.
Argas, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yun pong halimbawa po sa discrepancies would be, halimbawa po is, dun po sa isang form, yung age ng pasyente is 15, dun po sa kabilang form ay 17. Or halimbawa po, yun pong name, dun sa claim form 1 is different from that of the claim form 2. So,
0.6 billion po na binanggit nyo po na mga claims po.
Can we bring back the slide, please?
Thank you once again for this opportunity to address this esteemed body on the important matter of PhilHealth's zero subsidy for 2025. It is of utmost importance for your constituents, our 115 million members who depend on the National Health Insurance Program. Understandably, they have concerns about the sustainability of the NHIP, our capacity to continue serving the public, and of course, our ability to pay claims payments. In the last committee meeting, I had confirmed that PhilHealth is in good shape despite unprecedented challenges last year. PhilHealth was still able to fulfill its mandate by implementing a 95% effective increase across the board for the all case rates. PhilHealth now covers nearly twice as much of the cost of medical services compared to the previous year. This leaves our members with a much smaller out-of-pocket expense as we effectively double the value and reach of the benefits for our members. More broadly, this translates to greater access to services such as diagnostics, surgeries, and treatments that might have been simply unaffordable before. This is a good illustration that our current strategy to significantly reduce the financial barriers to essential healthcare services is working very well. Our prudent financial management has ensured our resources too. And all the while, we implemented greater efficiency and transparency to our operations. These achievements affirm PhilHealth's role as a critical pillar of our healthcare system. As His Excellency President Marcos personally assured our members last January 16, hindi mababawasan ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth. Hindi mababawasan ang bayad ng PhilHealth sa insurance claims. In fact, baliktad. Padadamihin pa namin ang serbisyong ibibigay ng PhilHealth. Palalakihin pa namin ang pagbayad ng insurance claims. I also reported on the significant enhancements and development of new benefits for our members. 30 benefit packages since I have taken office. PhilHealth remains on track in the mission to make quality healthcare much more equitable and much more accessible. I am confident in this determination as this year will showcase even much better results stemming from the strategic organizational streamlining and operational refinements that have been carried out in the past 2 years under my administration. We came out with new benefit packages just this month to address pressing healthcare needs, starting with optometric services for children up to 15 years old. With this early detection and intervention for vision impairments, we will reduce the debilitating effects on the youth's education and quality of life. We have also rationalized our package for cataract operations, a significant step toward reducing preventable blindness for elderly members. We also now offer coverage for pediatric cataract cases. And our most recent circular was to introduce our benefits package for physical medicine, rehabilitation services, and assistive mobility devices. Our members can now avail of the services of physical and speech therapists and assistive mobile devices like wheelchairs, walkers, rollators, and canes can now be procured affordably by our members with mobility issues. Looking ahead, we are focused on further expanding our coverage to include broader preventive and promotive care, increased coverage for critical illnesses, and integration of more advanced diagnostic and treatment options. These efforts are aligned with our vision of making universal health coverage a reality for all Filipinos. PhilHealth is in the midst of a critical transformation. At the same time as benefits development, we are strengthening our financial management systems, streamlining operations, and leveraging technology to improve service delivery. I talk of more than just modernization, but about building a resilient and responsive health insurance system that can adapt to the evolving challenges not just of the healthcare landscape, but of our society itself. In just a few weeks, PhilHealth will commemorate its 30th anniversary since its founding. This year, we look forward to building on successes, pursuing reforms that strengthen our foundational values, and expanding our reach even further to deliver truly comprehensive and inclusive healthcare. In closing, we affirm, as always, our commitment to universal healthcare and the steady progress of our current plans towards its successful realization. The zero subsidy matter has certainly underscored the need for collaboration and shared responsibility between PhilHealth and the other organs of the government. We sincerely hope you will continue to work with us to craft solutions that ensure the financial viability of the National Health Insurance Program. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, for your kind consideration. Your Honors, I look forward to your observations and recommendations for the future of healthcare in our country. Good morning po. Over.
Thank you. Before I recognize the Honorable Jinky Luistro, the Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Francisco Paulo Ortega from the 1st District of La Union. If I remember it correctly, Mr. Ledesma, during the last hearing, we requested for certain documents to your end. I think we requested for the computation of the premium rate reduction proposal, the update on its digitalization projects, and as well as the collection effort. Were you able to submit it to the COMSEC?
We are going to submit it this morning, Mr. Chair. In fact, I just requested for it now.
Okay. All three documents?
Yes, Mr. Chair. All three documents, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Luistro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to all our resource persons and good morning to the esteemed members of the Committee on Good Government. I wish to direct my questions to PhilHealth, Mr. Ledesma. In the previous sessions in the plenary, I recall that there are members the 19th Congress of the Philippines who made privileged speeches about the delay in the payment of hospitals by PhilHealth Corporation. And I went over some records. I found out that it totals to the amount of 59.6 billion. That is for the end of calendar year 2024. So, may I first confirm this amount representing the unpaid PhilHealth coverage to hospitals, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And can we be enlightened? Ano po ba ang dahilan? What are the stories and the reason behind this huge amount of pending claims of hospitals? This is 59.6 billion.
May I respond, Mr. Chair?
Please continue, Mr. Ledesma.
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Chair. And we are very happy that this gives us a chance to explain our side. If Mr. Chair, if you may allow me to pass on the Sir Renet, our SVP for Finance, will address the query. Before Sir Renet addresses the query, Madam Chair, I just want to highlight to this committee that the payments of claims to hospitals from a year ago have been increased by almost 30 to 40 billion pesos. It shows how aggressive we have been in paying the claims to hospitals. So roughly we pay around close to 15 billion a month, from previously around 12 to 13 billion. But to address your question, Madam Chair, a lot of it's on the denied and RTH side. I will allow VP Renet to explain in detail.
Just for purposes of clarity, Mr. Ledesma, you made mention about 30 billion and 15 billion payment of claims. Is that correct?
What I mentioned, Mr. Chair, was our total annual payments of claims to hospitals increased by more than 30 billion from the year before.
But
Aggregate, Mr.
does
Chair.
it have something to do with the pending claim totaling to 59.6 billion?
Yes, Madam Chair, if I can ask Sir Net to explain in detail.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Chair.
If I may interrupt, for the understanding of the Filipino people, ano po ba ang kahalagahan nitong ating discussion about the delay in payment of claims of hospitals? Because in reality, with all due respect to PhilHealth, marami po akong naririnig na stories of hospitals who have suspended or even stopped certain hospital services. For some, they fully closed. And I even heard stories about employees, health workers, who were dismissed because of issues of delay in the payment of claims. So I am apprehensive that our intended healthcare system for the Filipino people might be affected already because of this delay, considering the alarming amount of 59.6 billion. Of course, we acknowledge na nakasandal din po, umaasa din po ang ating mga hospital dito sa claims na natatanggap nila from PhilHealth. And if they will be suffering from delay in the payment of claims, chances are baka ma-derail po yung services, just like what happened to other hospitals who have stopped already certain services. And for some, they even fully closed, no? So, for the viewing public, nais po nating malaman ano ang kaugnayan nitong 59.6 billion na pending claim with respect dito sa mga hospitals na naririnig nating tumitigil yung ibang hospital services or yung iba ay totally nagsasarado na. How true na may kaugnayan ang delay ng payment ng claim sa mga nangyayaring ganito sa ating mga hospital? Mr. Limsiaco, please.
Mr. Lim Siaco, you are recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr.